So, good day po. Ang operating system po namin is Ubuntu. So, Ubuntu history. Ubuntu is an ancient African word meaning humanity to others. It is often described as reminding us that I am what I am because of who we all are. We bring the spirit of Ubuntu to the world of computers and software. The Ubuntu distribution represents the best of what the world's software community has shared in the with world. Where did it all begin? Linux was already established in 2004, but it was fragmented into proprietary and unsupported community editions, and free software was not a part of everyday life for most computer users. That's when Mark Shuttleworth gathered a small team of Debian developers, put together bounded canonical and set out to create an easy-to-use Linux desktop called Ubuntu. The mission for Ubuntu is both social and economic. First, we deliver the world's free software freely and to develop on the same terms. Whether you are a student in India or a global bank, you can download and use Ubuntu for free charge. Second, we aim to cut the cost of professional services, support, management, maintenance, operations for people who use Ubuntu at scale through a portfolio of services provided by Canonical, which ultimately fund the improvement of the platform. So here are the advantages and disadvantages of Ubuntu operating system. So let's tackle about the advantages first. Advantages. Ubuntu is free and an open source operating system. Number 2, Ubuntu is more secure. 3, Ubuntu runs without install. 4, Ubuntu supports window tiling. 5, Ubuntu is more resource friendly. 6, Ubuntu is completely customizable. 7, a well-rounded operating system for desktop computing. And last, for the advantages is minimal hardware or system requirement. Now let's talk about the disadvantages. First, in that disadvantages is issued with commercialization versus open source software. Second is compatibility issues with software and hardware. Third, there are other Linux operating systems that are better. And fourth, has a small numbers of uninteresting game titles. And last is limited functionality as a result of a small number of applications.
What does the word Ubuntu mean? The word Ubuntu is an ancient Zulu and Xhosa word that means humanity to others. Ubuntu also means I am what I am because of who we all are. It was chosen because these sentiments precisely describe the spirit of the Ubuntu distribution. So next, let's talk about the Ubuntu features. There are 14 features in Ubuntu. One is Office software. Office software in Ubuntu, we have software called LibreOffice, via which we can create professional documents, spreadsheets, and presentations. LibreOffice is an open source office suite that is compatible with Microsoft Office. So 2, an open source operating system. In Ubuntu, our code is openly shared during the development cycle. We transparent about our plans for future releases. So as a developer, hardware manufacturer, or OEM, we can start developing Ubuntu application and system right now. So 3, email. Thunderbird, Mozilla's famous email application, is included with Ubuntu. So we'll have quick access to our email for our desktop email. Works regardless for email services we use, such as Microsoft Exchange, Hotmail, Gmail, POP3, or Emap. 4 is web browsing. Ubuntu and Firefox, both famed for their speed and security, make browsing the web a pleasure once more. Ubuntu now supports Chrome and other browsers which we can get via the Ubuntu Software Center. So we can avail any browsing website in Ubuntu. So next is photos. Ubuntu have a plethora of free apps to let you enjoy, edit, manage, and share the photos whatever camera you use to take a photos. With excellent support for our cameras and phones, we won't require any additional drivers to get started. So that's the photos tells for in Ubuntu. 6 is videos. On Ubuntu, we can watch HD videos in our browser or with the default movie player, VLC, and OpenShot from the Snap Store. Use shortcut or Qden Live to edit our videos, then watch them in a movie player. So 7, gaming. In Ubuntu, from Sudoku to the first-person shooters, we have a number of games that will keep us engaged for hours. There are thousands of games, including titles from the Unity and Steam platforms. So the Unity and Steam platforms are the creator of games or a group of company that create games that available in Ubuntu, so we can play and download it for free. So let's go for 8, a whole world of apps. Thousands of apps are available for download on Ubuntu. Most of them are free to download and install with a few clicks. For example, VLC Player, Firefox, Chromium, Telegram, PyCharm, Skype, Spotify, Atoms, Slack, and etc. So, 9, backed by Canonical. Canonical is a multinational software company that offers commercial design and engineering support to the project of Ubuntu. Hundreds of laptops and workstations have been pre-installed with Ubuntu by Ubuntu's hardware enablement team throughout the world. So that's what the backed by Canonical. So 10 is no antivirus. In the Windows environment, security practices are extremely contradictory. Most of the same companies which write Windows software also make millions of dollars providing hugging applications that safeguard Windows apps from security issues. Although Ubuntu is not a malware protected, it is as secure as it needs to be for most users right out of the box, even without the additional of any expensive antivirus scanners. So the disadvantage of the Ubuntu have no antivirus, not like in Windows. That said, practices are extremely contradictory. So let's go for 11, hardware auto configuration. Another features of Ubuntu is hardware auto configuration. Most hardware drivers are already included in Ubuntu. Anybody who has installed a Windows generic version of Windows The one that has not been pre-configured by a PC vendor to work with specific hardware. Understands how convenient it is not to spend hours looking for drivers after the operating system have been installed. So that's the hardware auto configuration. So 12 is software repositories. It's a tremendous advantage to install a number of applications from the repositories of Ubuntu in some clicks apart from the fact that the software is free and safer than .exe packages, which are downloaded from random websites. Installing programs from the centralized location is far from convenient. So 13, multiple desktops. The virtual desktop are similar to tab web browsing. We do not understand how beneficial they are until we use them. There are various third-party tools for achieving the same capability on Windows, but few of them perform properly with Vista and higher in our experience. So that's the multiple desktop. So not the least, SSH client. Having an SSH client embedded into the operating system is a significant advantage for us. There are several SSH clients for Windows such as PuTTY, but none of them come pre-installed in Windows, and even the finest of them isn't as functional as GNOME Terminal. So that's all for the Ubuntu features.
System requirements. In system requirements, operating system requirements mostly is fairly among Ubuntu products. Ubuntu will contain a minimum memory requirement is 760 megabytes of system memory and 5 gigabytes of disk space for Ubuntu desktop. In addition, the Ubuntu operating system is belong to the household type of useful operating system, support for digital music, photography, computer games, and so on, to provide home users in a simple way and easy to use in-house environment. A Pentium 4 and 1 GHz system is the minimum recommended for a system in desktop. Below is a list of hardware specifications that don't bureau should meet as a minimum requirement before an installation. Mark Shuttleworth, or Mark Richard Shuttleworth, is a South African British entrepreneur who is the founder and CEO of Canonical, the company behind the development of the Linux-based Ubuntu operating system.